whatever the book was saying, you could feel it. Why you had to do this to me? I was crying and I was so impacted because I'm thinking on all the ways in which I could apply this scene that I saw. And what did the author do? She grabbed my hand and she applied it to one single thing. As soon as they sat down here to listen to a story and they realized that they're actually sitting down in a sermon, in a service about your religion, stand up and go. The atmosphere of your story should be enough to create new lungs with which people go outside and breathe. You don't have to tell them how to breathe. Let them do it by themselves when they close your book. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to this podcast. My name is Melanie, and this is Written with a Y. I am really happy to be back with you guys, and I am again by myself. I have been with people this past 2-ish episodes, and I love having co-hosts, and I miss my co-hosts. And next time, I will bring you co-hosts. I have Em and Skylar, but then I have a new one that is going to be with us to analyze the book, The Hero of Ages, that we have all been reading together. But for today, it's only me, only this humble servant, because my friends couldn't be here today, and they have not read this. Actually, I have not been able to feel morally at peace, ethically at peace, with recommending this book to them. I could push them to do it, but I think they will get a little angry with me. I know how they think, I know how they'll feel, and I don't feel completely comfortable making them buy this book and then read it. Though I might, I don't know. It would be cool to get their reactions. I would love to see what they think about what I disliked so deeply. If you guys convince me, I might make them do it. As you have seen in the title, the book of today is Blood Over Bright Haven, and I read this almost a month ago with a book club that I participate in. I had not been able to do the review for it because this is the thing. I just feel so uncomfortable with many things here, but it's hard for me to defend my point because I know I need to gather a lot of strong data to make it. You know, it's not just to sit down and comment a very quick review. I know that so many of you have loved this book, and I know why you loved it. Like, guys, I know why you loved this book. It's probably for the same reasons that I was loving it until I did not like it anymore whatsoever. But I understand the love that it has received, and I think it's justified in a lot of ways. So I don't want just to come and destroy the book without any strong evidence, but that was holding me back from giving my review for too long. Actually, I already started an essay for this book. So you don't think I'm lying, here it is. This is the title. At least I have the title. And the title is, if you cannot see it well because of the light, The Risk of Allegorical Stories, How Wang's Blood Over Bright Haven Shatters Under the Weight of Allegory. I think it's gonna be a cool essay, and I'm very, very, very excited for writing it. The problem is that I need time that I do not have. And again, that was detracting me from doing this video, but I promise I will do another video after I write this article, explaining my article in a more, casual way to you guys, but at least with all my evidences and like deep analysis. For today, however, I am going to give a good analysis. This is not gonna be a bad analysis. It's just gonna be a little bit less profound. As always I do, is gonna be a non-spoiler review and then a spoiler review. I always forget to say this. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe, and that's gonna help this channel grow. And if you have any comments about it, go ahead and make your comments in the comments. And if you like the video, like it. And if you don't, well, you can dislike it, I guess. Going to the non-spoiler review, I will start with the good things that this book has. The first good thing that I absolutely adore of this book, I love it, is its prose, its writing style. Wang is, I don't know what's her name. ML Wang. I was looking for it. It doesn't say what's her actual name. Well, that's her name, but like, I don't know what ML stands for. She is just such a good writer. Her prose is just beautiful. I was like, these are not even all the parts I actually marked. I just lost my markers. So I had to just highlight, but I was highlighting everything because it's so beautifully written. You feel everything that the characters are feeling. It's It's just amazing. I wouldn't put anything else to her prose. Is that good. And after coming from my beloved Brandon Sanderson, who is such a good writer, such a good world builder, but doesn't put a lot of emphasis in the prose, it was so refreshing to go to a book like this one with such a deep, beautiful prose. The second thing I love about this book is its magic system. Is it perfect? It is not, but it's really interesting, really original. There's so many already magic stuff out there that coming up with a new one was very, very good. Very good. I liked it. And lastly, in the good things that this book has, it has one amazing plot twist. It's just so crazy that I had to close the book and cry and cry and cry. I was in shock. My mouth dropped. I was like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my. I was going crazy. It will definitely emotionally impact you with that plot twist. It doesn't have a lot of great plot twists, but that one it makes the book. It's just crazy, crazy good. You can see I appreciate stuff about this book, guys, so don't comment me, please. I can see the good things, and I have more good things to say in the spoilers. And now, the bad things, the negative things. Sadly, this book is my biggest disappointment. It sets itself up for success, but in the last, quarter of the book, it literally robs the success that it was setting up for itself. It is absurdly, as you can have seen with the title of my article that I want to write, it is absurdly allegorical. It's just almost everything here is an allegory. And I don't know if this is a spoiler. I don't think so. She says it in interviews. She says herself that she wanted to do an allegorical book. But sadly, that just ruins the book. All the beautiful and fantastic world that she created shatters under the weight of an allegory so big. I cannot say more without spoiling the book, but I gave this book a 2.5 initially. The more I think about it, I'm sadly lowering it to a 2. I don't know. It's just so many good things, but the bad thing is so heavy that shatters the good ones completely. Like the weight of that bad one just makes every good thing that I just say in the positive parts just crumble under its weight. I'm so disappointed about this book because it was so good, and because it stopped being so good. I don't think other books that are equally good or bad as this one have made me feel so deeply angry about a book being ruined that it's almost as if I was just so happy and I was just oh my goodness, my life is just and then when this one ruined it for me, it was just more personal, it's just like, dude, no, why? No. It's like as if you have a boyfriend and he's just a trashy boyfriend. You never actually like the boyfriend, and then he cheats on you, and you're like, okay, thank you for an excuse to stop being with you, bye. But if you have a good, loving boyfriend that you're really in love with, and that was so nice to you, and you had all these ideas of possibilities of how great your relationship with him was gonna be, and then he cheats on you, it's just like the betrayal, The betrayal is just bigger. And that's how I feel with this book. Why you had to do this to me? Okay, I give it a 2. I think I'll stay in a 2. Recommendations for reading it. You should read it if you do like allegorical books. If that's what you go for, you can go for this book. It's not a thought-provoking book. No. Don't come at me. People are gonna hate me for this, but I don't think it's a thought-provoking book, and I will explain why also in the spoiler review. I don't think it makes me think deeply, but it definitely has a very strong allegory, and if you like that, you can also read it, but be careful, because if you don't agree with what the allegory in this book is pointing to, then you will be very disappointed and bothered by the allegory. If you agree with it, if you agree with the political stance that the book is taking, and you like allegory, so these two things need to be true. You need to agree with the claim that this writer is making here, the political claim, because she's making a political claim. That's literally what the book is about a political claim. It's not a fantasy, it's a political claim. Okay, I said it. If you agree with her, you'll be fine. But you also have to like allegories. So go for it. Is that what you like? Also, if you do not like allegories, but you want a good example of an allegory and an easy read, like it's gonna be allegorical, but it's gonna be enjoyable to read because it is enjoyable to read. It's so easy to read. I read it like in 3 days. I am very, 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 very slow reading, and I am very busy. I don't have time to be just reading all the time. It's a page turner until it's not, but okay. If you wanna analyze an allegory, this is also a great book for you. Maybe it will be good for your studies about why allegories are good or bad. Don't read it if you are really against allegorical stories. If that is something that is gonna bother you, if you're going to be disappointed by the magic and everything meaning something else, do not read this book. I am happy I read it, honestly. I do not regret having read it. It was such a good, interesting way of first hating it, but also as a scholar, I do like finding a good case for studying, and I think that's what this book is for me. I hate it as a fantasy and as a good story, it's just not. But I'm happy I read it, and I'm happy I'm able to do a video about it, and I'm happy I'm able to write an article about it. And it was a good time until it was not. Okay, let's go to spoilers review. You already know that I'm coming to spoilers, so whatever you see after this is going to ruin completely your experience of the book. If you don't want spoilers, please just keep moving. Do not watch now. The first one is world building. It is not a big world. There's just not much here. It's a standalone, it seems. At least that's what I know till now. You can correct me, but I understand that she's not gonna do more books on this one. So the world is small. You only have 2 points of views, and one is the main one, that is Siona, the main character. She's the main point of view. You also have Thamil, the also main character, but he is less than Siona is a main character. It's more on her side of the story that we're seeing things, though we also have some parts of his side of the story. So that makes the world be smaller, especially for a 400-ish pages book. It's just not enough space to develop a super huge world. We have enough, I would say. I cannot help but compare this with Mistborn, that is the series that I am actually reading. I was thinking about why is that Mistborn is such a bigger world. One, is a longer book, but two, Sanderson detracts from his prose so that he can expand in his world. Whereas this book goes so deeply in the prose and the emotions that the people are feeling in the book that it has to detract a little bit from the world building. You need to choose your battle. I don't think one is better than the other one. I would define this as a difference between zoom in and zoom out worldviews. So you have this one that is very zoom in and all that Siona is experiencing, or Thamil, and then you have Mistborn where things are just super higher scale and then zoom out, and you don't get that much a feeling. Some people complain about that in Mistborn, that you don't have that feeling like, oh, I don't feel the brokenness that much of the sky. Well, that is because Brandon Sanderson is focusing on other areas, and it's hard to make both. I don't know. I don't think it's possible to make both. I don't know. Maybe someone has done it. But here with Wang, I cannot complain. I think she does a good job. Could it be bigger? Yes. Could there be a little bit more? Yes. But you have Siona, in her perspective, she doesn't know much more about this world. She's actually learning about this world. I'm sure that if one would have written a trilogy or just a longer series, we would have seen much more of the world, because Siona is now expanding her view on this world. I don't think it's bad. I did like the world building. As I said, I really like the magic system, which creates part of the world building. As you know, if you have read it, that you should if you're watching this right now, because I'm giving spoilers. The city where this happens is called Tyron, and it's a city supposedly protected by its magic from something called the Blight that kills outside of the city. So everyone that lives inside the city, they think they are being protected from a horrible thing out there. But as again we know, it is actually the one creating the Blight that is killing everyone outside. So every time you use your computer, every time you use the bathroom, every time you use any energy, it is what it's doing is extracting it from everything outside, tearing the city and killing those. So it kills people, kills animals, kills plants. It's just destroying everything around it. I found that really cool for world building. If we would go to emotional impact already, it was really, really crazy when I think it was at the end of chapter 9 or something like that. Siona finds out where the magic comes from, and such a well written scene, so deep, so hard to read. So yeah, to world building, out of 5 I gave it 4, because I think it was really good. Could have been expanded, but I understand the decisions that the author took not to expand it anymore. Now going to prose. Prose for me was the highest. I can say the score already. I gave it a 5 out of 5. It was so compelling, so beautiful that it moved you. Whatever the book was saying, you could feel it. Okay, listen to this scene. It's just so good. When she is trying to prove to Thomil is not there, but she can see in her telegraph, she can see this girl in the beach, and she needs to like prove to Thomil that it's not true, that the magic that they use is the blight. She hits the key or whatever to like use the magic, and it says how the girl basically dies. The girl's hand lit bright white like paper, caught in a candle flame. She started, spilling shells. Then threw her head back, black eyes wide and mouth open in soundless agony as her arm began to come apart. I'm like reading this with my mouth shut like this. I'm like, it was absolutely insane. Oh my, so good and so well written. I cannot even describe. It was just so good. I have so many notes in her good writing, in her good prose, that just made me feel all these things, and I absolutely adore it. I am so happy that I was able to experience that good prose. It's my highest thing. Between world building and prose are my highest. Now I'll go to characters. The characters were also really well written. Siona is a character that I believed that existed somewhere in the universe. I think that's my biggest thing with characters. I don't need that much from you. I just need to believe that you exist. I don't care if I like you as a character. I don't care if you are a good or bad person for me. I don't care if I would be or not be your friend in real life. I just want to know that you are real. That's something that Wang also accomplished really well with Siona and with Thomil. Something else she did with the characters, I would say with Thomil first. Something that I really liked was that we started the book with Thomil and his family trying to cross the border. So they were just running, and all his family that he loved so much are all being devoured by the blight. All the whole chapter, you're rooting for them. You're just begging, like, no, not another one. And then dies the brother, and then dies the sister, and then dies this one. Everyone just dying, and you're so desperate because they're all dying. You don't want them to die. You just want to stop it. Stop. And they're like, I don't know, their lives become so precious. You're just like, how come so many people are dying in this moment? And it's so well accomplished that when we enter into the life of Siona that has nothing to do with Thomil, like, it's just a jump, and I was a little confused, honestly. I might be dumb enough to be confused by everything, but like, I was a little confused. I had not read the synopsis in the back, so I didn't know what the book was about, and when they jumped to Siona, I'm just like, what is going on? Like, where's the guy and his niece? Where are they? What is going on? I didn't even know, and when she met the, janitor that is Thomil, I didn't know it was Thomil. I just thought it was an old janitor. I didn't even know who he was. But when I found out that he was Thomil, knowing where Thomil came before he was introduced to Siona's life, just gave his life and the life of everyone like him such a like heavier weight, because now it's just not just a random janitor that is cleaning her office. It's someone for whom you rooted. You wanted him to live, and you wanted his family to live, and you care deeply about him as a human being. That now when you see him treated as less than a human, it just makes you feel more deeply the injustice of him being treated like less than a human. You really just see him like as stronger and more valuable than you would have had if he was just has been introduced as a random janitor. Not because we have anything against janitors whatsoever, but because it could have been just, oh yeah, this guy, and then you would have had to earn loving him as a person with time, but you already know how important he is as a person. That was also like a plot twist for me. Not because, I don't know, maybe for no one this was a plot twist, but I really didn't know that was Tamil. I was just so impressed. I'm like, oh yeah, this is just gonna be a sweet relationship between this old janitor and her, and like, oh, that's gonna be sweet. And then I'm just like, oh, it's Tamil. Oh, okay, and he's attractive. Okay, that's cool. So Siona's character, something I didn't like about, I did like Siona. I think she was really believable. Everything she went through was just super crazy. I will say it just right there. I didn't like that she killed herself. I didn't think it was proper. Sometimes people die. There are books where people die. They literally kill themselves to help others. But her death was just, huh? What? Wait, what? Like, her character was not over. I wanted to see more of that character, and you took it away from me. Now I cannot see Siona growing because she's dead. Like, how, like, I wanted to see where this was gonna go. I wanted to see how she was gonna heal all these lies that she was believing, especially as someone that has suffered with depression and has been saved from death. I don't want an excuse to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna die for the sake of everyone. Yeah, that's I don't know, I won't say that's like the easy way out. It just didn't seem fitting. So some people might argue that was fitting, but I'm sorry, I'm mixing like plot and characters, but I just don't think that was a good move for this character and for the plot of the story. It was just like, let's just end this. I don't know, no. Going also to Tamil, he was also such a good character. I love all his reactions. I love his anger. Like, he was just so quiet and so like, okay, whatever you want, and just passive and laid back. But then you learn that he's actually a very angry person, and rightly so. Like, he has seen everyone he loved dying. He has been mistreated, but he's just there, just suppressed and just letting people walk over him. And then when he becomes an angry guy with all the right reasons, like, he just realizes that everyone around him is killing his people and kill his whole family. If I would have found out that was the case, that everyone I ever loved in my life was killed because you wanted to turn on the AC, I would have been outrageous. I would have lost it. So I think it was really fitting that he became so angry and so frustrated. It was very, very, very well done. I loved also how he ended up loving Siona despite the fact that she was a mage. It was just very beautiful, and I hated that we cannot see more of that. Like, why did you take it away from me? That was a great romance story there, and you just wanted to give your little point and then leave me without the story. I do not like that. You shouldn't have killed her. Something I didn't like about the characters was that the other characters were just so stupid. That's what I'm gonna say. I am all for non-morally gray characters. I do like evil people and good people. I like that. Especially in fantasy, it's a cool move. I don't know if it's my Lord of the Rings love that I do like good characters and bad characters. But here, we weren't treating with elves and super evil forces. We were treating with normal human beings. The response of people, first I thought it was fitting that everyone just went crazy, but the response of the aunt and the cousin was simply not believable for me. I didn't like how they turned their back on the person they loved so much. It just didn't seem real. I understand an initial anger towards her, but the fact that they never turn around, maybe there was just not enough time, but I think by the time she went to see her at prison, a lot of time had happened. And to be so cold and so aggressively against her, this doesn't follow with the character that I saw in her. Siona also was in denial, so I understand them being in denial, but lashing against this person that they supposedly loved so deeply, it doesn't go with the character that we saw of the cousin in the end. I just wonder, like, there must be someone good in this place. Even in this broken world, you see people, there's good people. Not everyone is just acting terribly and in denial all the time. And then I also hated that, I forgot his name. Okay, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but it was the instructor, the professor of Siona. His name is Brigham? I don't know. He is a complex character because he was so nice, and then he was like, no, like, forget about it. It's not. I did like that move, but then him becoming this beast, egocentric beast, is just, again, unbelievable. It would have been okay if he would have been thinking that he was good and not understanding how evil he was, but the fact that he was actually extremely evil and hated this girl that he supposedly loved too, is just, everyone just became crazy at the end. It just, all of them lost their freaking minds. And when he came to rescue her from the prison, I finally was just like, yeah, you see? Great. He was not that terrible. He is morally great. But no, he was not. He almost killed her again himself. Like, what the heck? You know? People just lost their route. They just lost their compass at the end. So I will give it a 3 out of 4 for characters. It just disappointed me at the end, as the majority of this novel. Lastly, I want to enter in the themes of this book. We could talk here for 5 hours about what she was trying to do, but I am just gonna be very straightforward with what the themes are. I'm not gonna discuss them deeply. I would just say the themes that I saw, because it was such an allegorical book that I could see every theme that she was actually doing. It was very, 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 very easy to spot. We have a political argument here, themes about the border, themes about immigrants, themes about feminism, themes about oppressed people, minorities. I don't know how to speak English. Those are very clearly the themes that we have in this book. Is, as I said at the beginning, is a political stance in the situation, not of Europe, not of the Caribbean. Is about the political situation in the United States very clearly. It's about patriarchy and all that stuff. I won't enter there. I do not want to go deep into that because this is not a political review. It's about how the book was written. And here is my problem with the book. My problem with it is that this book is, in every sense, an allegorical book. When you make an allegory of one thing directly pointing to another thing, then you rob every other application from that one thing. And let me put it very simple. This looks like a pen, and it's pointy and it's purple, but I'm using this to indicate that this is a knife. As soon as I did that, this pen lost every other applicability, and now the only way that we can see the pen is as a knife. And the problem with doing that with stories is that the whole role of the story is destroyed. When a person is reading a story and we see something about, let's use for example the Lord of the Rings, we see the ring. There are so many ways in which you can apply what this power means. Yes, it's pointing you to something, it's giving you value and morality, but it is not just one thing. It's not that ring is the government of the times of the Jews, and this government of Hitler was like, no, that's not what the ring is doing. The ring can mean any type of power, big or small. So when you're reading, your mind is just going everywhere and trying to apply, trying to anchor all your feelings to this kind of like almost transcendental reality. You're trying to grasp it. When I was reading this, before I knew how allegorical it was, the scene of the girl that is destroyed by blight happens, I was crying and I was so impacted because I'm thinking on all the ways in which I could apply this scene that I saw. My brain was just going like crazy, like boom, 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 boom. And what did the author do? She grabbed my hand and she applied it to one single thing. This is us with our energy, and we are killing people, and this is what we are doing. We take resources. This is exactly what it means. Every other applicability, every other moral strength that it could have given me, every other way that it could have made me grow as a human, is completely eradicated because she didn't let me do it. Yes, I think stories should be full of messages. I think they should be full of metaphysics. It's impossible not to be full of metaphysics. They're trying to point us to the right thing and the wrong thing, and beauty and ugliness. The problem with allegory is not applicability, it's exclusive applicability. And yes, a writer can do all the allegories they want. Wang, you can do all the allegories you want with this book, and that's totally fine. It's their book and they are free to do it. The problem is that they are robbing the reader and themselves. She is robbing from us because she's snatching from our hands all the hundreds, if not thousands, of applications that we could have done to this simple one story. But she's also robbing from herself, because if what she wanted was to convince her opposers that the things that she thinks in this real world are wrong, as soon as her opposers saw her hands in the story, they immediately rolled their eyes and turned around and left. If you want to convince with a story, you need to let the reader do their own applications. You need to create in the story an atmosphere that prepares them. You need to make them breathe new air. The air of your story is gonna make them go out of your story to the real world and then breathe in and be like, this doesn't smell right. You don't tell them what in the real world doesn't smell right. You just tell them how right things smell, how wrong things smell. And then when they go outside, you hope, you trust that they're gonna go and they're gonna smell and they're gonna say, this is good, this is bad. That's what you're trying to do. But if you tell them what smells bad is the government, they are not gonna listen to you. Some people might, but it's probably just the ones that already support you. If you just want to agree with the people that already support your own views, go ahead, do it. They'll be fine. But if you really want to change the world, that I'm pretty sure that's what Wang wanted. She literally said in an interview. She wanted to make people feel how horrible the horrible things that are happening today are. Is that what you wanted to do? Then you should have not made an allegory. You should have simply made a story about wrong things and about good things, and trust that the story was gonna be enough to go out to the world and make the ones that breathe the air of this story. As C.S. Lewis says, the atmosphere of your story should be enough to create new lungs with which people go outside and breathe. You don't have to tell them how to breathe. Just make them breathe the right things. Just make them breathe the wrong thing and let them do it by themselves when they close your book. Because then you're gonna become a preacher that no one wants to listen to. The people that support whatever you're preaching are gonna be fine and clap. Good job, that was a good sermon. The ones that don't, as soon as they sat down here to listen to a story and they realize that they're actually sitting down in a sermon, in a service about your religion, stand up and go, that's me. That's what I did. I was just like, oh, okay, that's what you're doing. I was literally rolling my eyes all the time. The hands of the writer are all the time in there, breaking the wall between me, the audience, and the story. She's just breaking it with her own hands. She's like, so that I can go and see, oh yeah, that's you. Hi author. And she's like, did you see? Wink wink. That's what I meant. All the time. It just becomes so preachy, progressively preachy, that it's just unbearable. I was just like putting stuff in the corner of my book. I would write, oh yeah, sure, right. What? No one speaks like that. Like literally, the what's her name? Kara, I think is the name of Tomil's niece, and she was just like, yeah, that's a penis thing. What? That's a what? Who says that? No one talks that way. She stopped caring about being natural with her characters and she just wanted to make her point across. She needed to bring so rare phrases like that is a P thing. Why do I think that the beautiful world building, that the beautiful prose, that the beautiful imagery that was here was ruined? Was because that amazing plot twist of Siona finding out that they were the responsibles of killing these people, it literally meant that when you turn out the light, you're killing someone. I'm not killing someone when I turn on my light. You can say, well, in a big scale, like, no, that's exaggerated. And that's the problem with allegory. Your opposers are gonna start putting one after the other and saying, like, no, that's not how it goes. That is just not true. That's not me. That's not me. And it might be them. But the fact that she made it an allegory just destroyed the possibility of changing the minds of these people, because they are just gonna see all the holes in her allegory and are gonna be uncomfortable with the message behind the allegory. If you just make a story, not an allegorical story, just a story, just a normal story, the same story, but not make it allegorical as she made it, that literally the people running from the blight was the people crossing the US border, then maybe, and just maybe, I wouldn't have been rolling my eyes, and I would have felt the wrongness of this oppressive world, and I would have gone out there and seen there's also oppression here. I do not like this oppression, but don't tell me what is the oppression out there. Trust me. Trust me to make the connections and to not only apply it to the people crossing the US border, but to apply it to any type of oppressed people. I can do it. Trust me, writer. Trust me. I literally felt so betrayed with this book. I have a professor, and he was explaining what's the problem with an allegory like that. He used the imagery of putting a trap for people and saying, here it is, I have a story for you. And then when you come at it, they're like, Pop, no, what I actually wanted was to tell you that you should be this and the patriarchy and blah, 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 blah. What? I came here for a story, dude. What the heck? And it's not that I have to say it again, but it's not that I don't think in giving deep thoughts in the book, but it's not thought-provoking when you tell me what to think. It doesn't make me think. I can think that you want me to think that. That's the only thought that it's gonna provoke on me. So I do think, oh my goodness, how I think that books should make us think about deep things in life and help us apply it to our real world. If you want, just give me the sermon. Just give me the sermon. But with this story, she lured me to her den, and she was just like, here's this story and you're gonna like it. And when I'm involved and emotional and just, she was like, no, actually, this story doesn't matter. That's not the point. This never happened, and we all know this is a fake story. The only thing that I actually wanted was to explain you why the patriarchy is so bad, why the government shouldn't be this oppressive, why feminism should be this thing, why actually you are an evil person. Even if you don't realize you're so evil because you're buying clothes and you're turning on your light and you're turning on your shower, you are such a bad human. Thank you. Can I go now? Am I able to go? It just was so disappointing. No, I feel so sad because I really liked this book. I really wanted to like it, and it was good, and it stopped being good. But okay, I think I am ranting already. That's everything I have right now. I can see why you guys liked it, but I just cannot because of these reasons. And there's so much more. I need to do more videos about this. I'm happy I read it, as I said. I'm happy I have the opportunity of analyzing it. She's a great writer. She just could have done so much more in her applicability versus allegory, and it's such a disappointment. I don't know if this is gonna convince you if you liked it, but I hope eventually I can go a little deeper in the differences between allegory and applicability and why allegory is just not good for stories. But this is my best attempt, my best try, my best. So yeah, I don't know, you tell me if you like it. Tell me why I'm wrong, convince me, that's fine, I'm all for it. You can put it in the comments. I am open to it. It's totally fine. Just let me know. I don't know if my mind will be changed, but I am happy to listen to what you have to say. Also, nothing related to this, just about this channel in general. I am this month, in 2 weeks, I'm gonna start a book club with some friends, and I'm gonna open a Discord account, a Discord channel, whatever you call that, so that other people can join us. So if you're interested, please just tell me, and I'll put it up, and I'll remind you again. But yeah, if you're interested in that, that's really cool. We still don't know what book we're gonna read, but it's gonna be a fantasy book, and it's gonna be great. And then we're gonna do some videos about it. So yeah, I'm excited about that. And after complaining for about an hour, I am ready to be done. Thank you so much for watching. I really enjoyed doing this and having you, my fellow people that watches me, like 3 people, but that's okay. That's okay. I love you all. Bye.